watch Survivor, and when the show ends, you really want to talk about it with like-minded friends. It might be hard to find some, but don't you shed a tear. Check out the Purple Rock Podcast, and this is what you'll hear. John will make some dumb jokes, Andy likes to yell and curse, and if they're not available, the backup hosts are so much worse. Spend the whole time being jerks, telling you you're wrong, and so we got this other jerk to sing you our theme song. It's the Purple Rock Survivor Podcast.
Welcome to the Purple Rock Survivor Podcast. I am John. My co-host is Andy. This week we are talking Survivor 50, Episode 9. And unlike hosts of other shows, it is not my aim to ruin Survivor. Also, unlike the hosts of other shows who aim to ruin Survivor, I have occasionally made a funny joke in my life. I think that statement will still hold true next week, though admittedly, I am unfamiliar with the Mr. Beast oeuvre. Andy, how familiar are you with the Mr. Beast?
More than I'd like to be. And this is, I think, probably a matter of my oldest are both boys.
Sure.
I mean, again, I don't celebrate the entire man's catalog, or none of it really.
Yeah.
But I've seen some videos. I'm aware of his shtick, his annoying inability to smile. It's just kind of like feels like a slacrum of what a human would be. I know I didn't say that word right.
Simulacrum.
I've only read it before.
Is that what you're going for?
Yeah, that's the one.
That's okay.
As I'm halfway through that word, I'm like, I've only read that before.
Exactly.
This is the first time I've ever tried to say it.
Yep. Yeah, I'm aware of the name Mr. Beast, and that's roughly it. That's all I got.
I've eaten his chocolate bars.
Oh, how exciting for you.
Eaten his burgers.
That's not a euphemism.
No.
Okay. Just making sure.
Literally, Mr. Beast burgers were a thing.
Okay.
Pop-up kitchens, and the boys were excited.
Absolutely.
Because the world was shut down, and there wasn't much. It's like, fine, we'll get you a YouTuber's burgers and fries, but you can't see your friends. You know,
sure.
That's kind of how it went.
Remember
Remember those days? Remember how we collectively went through that, and then everybody decided both A, to ignore it, and B, never remember who was president when it happened.
Also, it's just like, never speak of this again. And let's assume...
And of course, I'm speaking specifically of the time that a YouTube guy had burgers.
Yeah, that's the one. Hey, let's talk about that show that we watched this week, Survivor.
We got to.
Yeah. Did you enjoy this week's episode?
Not really, no.
Whoa, why?
I mean, like, it wasn't a bad episode, and there's certainly things that I liked in it, and we will discuss those things. But when it was over, was I like, yeah, that was a good... No, it was like, kind of, it's just not the result I wanted.
Sure.
A pretty significant thing that happens in it that I'm like, what? Why?
Right.
No. So,
see, I mean,
on balance, I'd say no, I did not enjoy it. You?
I think it was a good time. I'm not super thrilled that we lost Christian. It was, on the other hand, super gratifying to look prophetic with my predictions last week. Like, it felt like I could see where the season was going as far as some strategies. And so, at least the near term strategies. And so, seeing that play out, I was like, yep, I felt like this was coming. And my prediction that Cirie polycule is in a good place held up. And I continue to be confident going forward. So that's part of what led to me enjoying the episode. But there were
sure,
also...
but they'd still be in a good place if they voted out like Aubrey or Emily or like Jonathan, right? Like, it didn't have to be Christian.
Regardless, I feel like that's coming, right? Like, there's an order to it, sure. But ultimately, am I going to get like too caught up on like, this person went out at 9 versus 11? Nah, I don't care. I mean,
yeah.
At some point, if this is the polycule that I'm rooting for, I'm just hoping they ride to the end, and what order the bodies go out doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, I'd feel better about it because, again, like it would be better of the takedown and like, yeah, they got him, but it's like the Jimmy Fallon of it all kind of really like hurt the proceedings in the way I view it, because it was a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, that guy sucks in all the ways.
Yes.
it was actually kind of perfect that this like twist was like branded with his name, because I was like, yeah, this is perfect because this sucks just like that guy sucks.
Yeah, and it has like the hint, the flavorings of like humor, but it's not fucking funny at all.
No, at all. Right.
Yeah, so it's just like that whole twist I just thought was so dumb and punitive, and I hated it. And like the whole, it's just, and like we knew like going into the season, that was like the biggest like fear going into the season was just like, well, what are they going to sell out for the celebrities?
Right.
How are they going to fuck this up?
Right.
And like we're getting into it right now. I don't think it was game breaking or anything like that, but it's just like, this is the stupid shit we didn't need. You know, the season, the episode until that point was going along pretty nicely, and like in ways that we'll get into as it goes through. And then that I'm like, well, okay, why? So I don't know.
Right.
What did you think of the twist? I'm sure you didn't like it because you're not stupid, but
of course not.
And I put my thumb on the scale. It'd be awesome after this. Are you talking crazy?
Like, actually, I thought it was cool as hell. No, I feel like any other late night host would have come up with a much better twist.
I mean, assuming that we'll take it as face value that like Jimmy Fallon came up with this.
No, I think we should.
I know our friend Matt has doubts, but whatever.
No.
Let's just pin all of the shit on him.
Nope.
This sucked, so I believe he did it.
Canonically, this is the Jimmy Fallon twist. So if you hated it, let's use I think it's transverse property. Let's go with that.
I can't even say the word that I tried to say earlier.
This is all me flying solo here. Now let's transfer that hatred onto Jimmy Fallon, who sucks, as I mentioned earlier. I mean the twist in itself, so the first part of it, bringing back the like floating island thing and the time puzzle, we said it back when Rachel did the challenge, like shit was good TV. Right?
Yeah, that's cool. They finally brought, like, it made the experience of watching somebody do a puzzle far more visually interesting than it normally is.
Yeah,
or frankly, the ticking of time far more interesting visually and sonically than like an hourglass, which, as we all know, really should be reserved for breaking and magical powers.
Exactly, that's what hourglasses are for. Not
why did they have something that is about time that have nothing to do with time? I guess they're turning back time, but anyway, sorry.
I think that was the angle they were going for. Yeah, anyway, the point is they brought this back. Good idea, because it was fun the first time. Yeah. I think it was also fun here.
I thought it fucking ruled that the puzzle was still intact as it was going into the ocean.
Amazing. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's like it worked out really well visually. Like, it's really cool to watch, and it definitely amps up the suspense, right? Where you're watching these ropes start going down, and you're looking at how far Christian is on the puzzle and going, oh man, I was confident when he started, less so now.
Less so, but then like puzzles get easier,
right?
When the farther you get into them. Yeah. So it's not like a 50-50 thing.
Right.
But
yeah, and that was the thing, is like, as he was getting close to the end, I'm like, I know there's probably only like 4 or 5 pieces left, but like there's no time left.
Yeah.
And then it goes crashing down.
So that's cool. And a penalty for losing. I've come to accept that that's a thing.
Sure.
But the balance here was insanely out of whack.
It really was. You essentially get a free vote if you win the advantage, except
worse,
not quite a free vote, right? Like it's an okay vote, because you have no idea necessarily where the vote's going. I mean, you maybe had some conversations, but it's not at tribal council. You have not coordinated a plan and confirmed with everybody. Like, you just it feels like it should be this person, and you're going to put that vote in and hope that that's where maybe you go back to camp, you try to steer the votes that way, because you're like, no, I got a bonus vote.
There's already one in,
right?
Yeah, like there's some, like, it wouldn't be useless, but it's less useful than your standard extra vote, which are usually useless. Yeah. Now, one note, and people might be like, there was an extra element of that they did not get into the show because it did not matter. Christian had the option, if he had won, if he had gone that route, he didn't have to then use his regular vote that night. This could have taken the place of his regular vote, and then he'd have a banked vote. He's revealed that in exit interviews, and people have also posted the screenshot of his scroll. So then, like that makes it like, okay, now it's about as good as an extra vote,
right? It's like, it's replacement level vote.
Because what does a back vote do for you? But give you an extra
Right.
vote
It's
later on, right?
Right. Yeah.
Now, which, although I say it, I wonder, can you play your shot in the dark and then still use an extra vote? I think you should be able to, right?
I feel like you should. Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, not if you always use it as a bartering system.
Right. If you keep giving it away to people, you can't use it at all, actually. That's how that
But
works.
yeah, so it's like, okay, that's like a standard ass reward for this phase of the game. That up against like losing your vote entirely. Okay, I guess. Based on the standard I've come to accept, I hate losing votes anyway, but like if that's where we're going to be, but that's not what this is.
No, it's actually a little bit worse than
so
losing
much
your
worse.
vote. You know, that's the thing. It's like the upside, a little bit worse. The downside, a lot worse.
So much worse.
Yeah. So it's not only do you not have a vote, you kind of did have a vote.
You do have a vote,
but it's for you. So yeah, it seems like a pretty severe consequence. Like the risk
and that's
reward,
not all.
Right. You have
so
to
you have to vote for yourself, and you have to tell everybody that.
You have to publicly tell them all that. And again, I think Christian brought this up in the like post game stuff. Like, you have to read. Like, they can see the parchment. Like, you can't even mess around with them and be like, I'm lying to you guys. You have to read it aloud to them as you are reading it and be like,
for the first time,
fuck. Like, now they all know.
You can't pretend it's anything else. You can't work around it. And yeah, man, and like especially like the way Survivor is now, so much easier to be like, oh well, cool. That's a freebie.
Yep.
So yeah, no, this is so bad, and I think where it all would stem from Jimmy Fallon's stupid little head.
Yep.
Is
Canonical.
Wouldn't it be funny if somebody had to vote for themselves? Or maybe even as the kernel like that happens with some fans is like, oh, why can't they just vote for themselves? Which I guess in some international versions you can. And I don't know, like falling on the I think it's happened from what I've read in comments because I'm not watching.
Look, man, some of those international survivors get batshit. So
yeah, no, I mean it's the pure best form of Survivor ever, except
obviously
they'll do the weirdest fucking shit ever, and nobody will complain about it because when you're investing 70 hours out of your life, you have to tell yourself that it's
worth it. Yes.
But anyway, so like that's probably where it comes from. Wouldn't it be funny? And like, look, if this happened to Coach, then it would be funny.
It would be funny. That's the thing.
So that's where it comes from. But then you don't like think about all the ways that this breaks shit.
Yep.
Right? You can't use a shot in the dark because you have to sacrifice your vote and you're not allowed to. You can't lie. You can't pretend. The public nature of it. Like everything was just designed to fucking stab somebody and twist. And obviously, as I just said, like the hypocrisy of it, I dislike it more because it happened to somebody I liked. But it's just more, it's like, why not just kick them too? Like, why not just say you're gone?
Right. I mean, that's the thing is, I can be some level of objective because even, when it's Coach and Chrissy going home, I'm like, I still don't know that that's the most fair thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like the same thing here. It's like, this one, well, first of all, how much do you think this screwed Christian?
So that's the one part. And that's why I'm not like outraged. Like if this had like happened to Cirie and everybody's like, well, we were going to vote Cirie out sometime and she's gone, fucking burn the whole place down. Right?
Exactly.
This isn't that either through the storytelling or I think the truth. And all we can do is just infer based on the storytelling. It does feel like they were already looking to vote Christian out before they even knew that this was a possibility. So there's a chance that if this twist doesn't happen, the most likely thing is Christian got voted out anyway. And they were like trying to seize on the idea of, well, if he's going to give us his shot in the dark, this is the time that he'd be most vulnerable. So let's do it. Right. So I don't know that it screwed him in that. It certainly didn't screw him as much as, going to Cirie about the crazy idea of voting out her number one ally.
Right.
Which we can get into.
Yeah.
So that part, but like, we don't know, right? Maybe it moved from Rick to Christian because of this, right?
So that's my thinking is I feel like it it hurt in some way. It's the amount that
Yeah.
it measures is not like easy to measure, right? Like I think he probably went from in the contenders for being the target to the clear-cut target, right? Like I think it just moved the needle a little bit because there was definitely talk about getting rid of him. I could see it have been like a vote split thing where Devins was the primary and then Christian's the backup. You know, maybe that could have happened. But in this case, once it got this far along, they were like, you know what? At this point, let's take the clear shot. And also, a quick thing, because I feel like I need to clarify this. I haven't seen anybody clarify this, although I feel like there's one person that probably would. They like made a big deal, like, oh, this is the first time a player has ever voted for themselves. Except that, little asterisk here, because Fishback stole Joe's vote in Cambodia and played it on him. Like it was a whole plot point in Cambodia. He's like, haha, I'm going to take your vote and use it on you. You just voted for yourself. Now, admittedly, it didn't work in that scenario. But
home. Yes.
it specifically backfired. But I do wonder if like Steven's all pissed that they're like acting like this is the first time this has ever happened.
It is different though. Like,
it is. It's a little different.
Christian did write his fucking own name down.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah.
And like maybe like the late episode charge of like, no, let's just fucking get rid of Emily because she's pissed us off. Maybe that would have had a chance, but not the night where it's like, no, Christian's already voting for himself.
Yeah.
Like did it screw him? I don't know. Again, I think there's a world. I think it's even, you could argue, most likely that Christian was going to go home anyway. But once this happens, that just clinches it.
That's what I'm saying. I think.
And would that have happened to anybody who goes? No, like again, like even if this happened to Cirie, people would be like, "Oh man, one vote that sucks, Cirie." But don't worry, we're all going to vote for Christian, right? So it's like Christian was largely already in jeopardy, but something like this just makes it so much worse while cutting off so many chances to like undo it.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like, I think if it was someone about whom we hadn't heard any mention of being a target, like, I don't think it would have been enough.
Farce and this is unfair.
Right.
Yeah. But if this was the only thing we could point to, then forget about it. Like this would be season wrecking. I don't think it's there. Conspiracy, you could say, well, yeah, that's why they threw all that other stuff so we don't feel that way. I don't think so. Like the other stuff is real. For what it's worth, Christian believes that the other stuff was a bigger contributor. It just, this got in his way of being able to do anything about it.
Right.
But it's just more like, forget the Christian of it all in this scenario. Like this, so that's why it's like, I'm not like incensed or anything. Like I think the guy was going home. We were losing him anyway, and better him than the people I'm more invested in. But it's just dumb. It's bad. It's like, I don't know why are we doing this?
I don't know.
I hate losing votes anyway, but then like, no, now you got to vote for yourself. Like telling people how to vote, period. Forget making it that much worse that it's for you. Like, why?
Right.
Why do you have to I'm fine with so many other introductions of new things to this show, but we can just allow voting to happen.
Yeah. The answer to why is Jimmy Fallon sucks. I think we've established this.
Hope he had a little laugh.
That's right.
I mean, I bet when he was writing it, he was laughing to himself because there's at least one person in the world who thinks Jimmy Fallon's jokes are funny.
That's right. I think the over-under on that should probably be 1.
1.5. I don't know. I mean, he's probably got parents.
Maybe.
Now, I should probably clarify. It's like, how long do I think it's been since Jimmy Fallon wrote his own joke?
Yeah. That's good.
He's got people that does it for him. And,
sure. Let's talk instead about the other possible targets, because there was one guy who, when the episode started, seemed like there was some heat on him, and that's your boy Rick Devins. Go ahead. I know you want to say it.
There was a lot of talk last week.
Do it.
In comments. Before the episode, like, oh, I can't wait to eat. Eddie's going to eat his words this time. And then even after we did the podcast, and I absolutely did not eat my words. There were comments like people have been like, no, but I think it was fun. Like, he didn't know he was safe. We can't judge him for wasting it. And like, you guys don't get what we were saying at all. We weren't saying that he made a bad move because he didn't need to do it. I was saying that what he didn't help him at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because, how about them fake idols, though, folks? It was so fucking fun, and it was.
It was fun.
And now Rick Devens probably has zero chance of winning this game, largely as a result of fucking around with something that didn't even save him.
Although, I do want to point out, probably 0% chance now. I don't know that it was that much higher before that.
Not that much.
He's been...
But you never know. You hang around long enough, there's bigger targets, things change.
Yeah, I think it's just my vibe on him from the beginning of the season is he has been very entertaining with his gameplay. He's definitely, he's like the latter day Brett Favre out there. He's just having fun out there, the old guy just still doing it, having fun. But yeah, strategy wise, not amazing. It never seemed like his was the type of game that was going to pull it off this season.
Sure, but that's all filtered through the fact that this is a guy who did this fake idol scheme. That's everything true. We got of Rick Devens was this, right?
Yep.
And, prelude to this, setting this up. If he doesn't fucking do this at all, then maybe he doesn't look like such a clown that's not really interested in playing. And I'm coming stronger here. I fucking loved it. I'm entertained by it. It was good.
Yep.
My point always isn't that it's not fun. Isn't that I don't want to see it. It's that there's no point to it. If you're trying to win Survivor, it does not help you. And every time something new comes, what about this? And it's this is, and I need, again, fine, that's cool. Again, it's better to just admit that I'm right, but that's fine. I understand that's hard. The vibe we've cultivated here is it'll be fun when I catch him being wrong, as though there aren't 50 things that you could just go to instead. It's not worth trying to find the way that the fake idol will be useful. It never has been. That way lies madness. Just let it go.
And it's funny too that the show almost wants to encourage the fake idols.
Of course they do, because it's fun as shit.
I was going to say, and you should know that the reason they want to encourage it is because it makes for good TV, not because it makes for good strategy.
So he had thought of this and oh man, what if I needed this last minute save and all this? And yeah, man, there's a world in which it would have gave him that last minute save.
Yep.
It turns out that world it wasn't the one we lived in because he didn't need it that night. But again, he didn't know that. I'm fine with that. But you survived that one, and in doing so, just confirmed what everybody was already worried about you about, man.
Mm-hmm.
Except, of course, you don't actually have the protection of an idol. So he survives this week, and his main idol does not. It's not like he survived. Do we think he's in a good spot as a result of
right? So that's the thing is, there was an immediate discussion with him and Emily, and he's like, so it's fake, and
it's all bullshit,
right? Yeah, which I think I had said earlier in the season, someone needs to utilize Emily's inability to keep a secret, and so I actually thought, I was like, I wonder if he knows and he's doing that. Although I was like, then I thought about it further. I'm like, does he really want it getting out there that the idol was fake? I feel like he's not the type of guy that would want that to happen. He would genuinely want people to keep thinking that it was legit. So,
I think is the play. At this point, you're in for a penny and for a pound, right?
For sure.
But now, of course, there are ways of beating somebody who has an idol.
Right. And then telling Emily, you should have some expectation that Emily's not great at keeping secrets. I mean, you're buddies with Christian. I feel like he would have passed along how Emily did him dirty.
Maybe not. Maybe he doesn't want to because it's explain to somebody how you got Survivor cucked. I don't know. So it's he doesn't need to, because at this point Christian still wants to work with Emily, so maybe he doesn't want to relate to the fact that this person that he's chosen to continue to ally with is pretty unreliable.
Right, exactly. You don't be like, no, don't worry, she's good with us. Here's what she did earlier.
Yeah.
Here's how I know she's cool with us.
I did enjoy, and when I say enjoy, rolling my eyes, but still kind of funny because it's so true to character, how so many of the other players tried to be all pearl clutchy about Evans pulling his move.
Oh, it's very good. Yeah,
how dare you
didn't
trick
tell
us. we just wanted to vote you out.
I
Why
know.
would you?
So perfect. Oh, the sanctimony.
Yeah, the conversation. Like, honestly, I didn't know that the Devon's Joe feud had legs to this degree.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was just a little bit of an annoyance one day, but it's still going on. And Joe's like, oh, how dare. It's like, no, you were trying to vote him out. And the thing about Joe, honorable, not going to lie, I think he could honestly say, no, I was going to vote for them. Reluctantly, Joe, we know that you, like, when it was presented to you, hey, no, we should take this golden shot. You're like, no, it's got to be Devon's. It's got to be Devon's.
Exactly.
So then when he's like, I just wish you had told me about that. And it's like, I do like Devon's calling it out too. It's like, I heard you were going to vote me out.
Right.
So, like, again, it's all funny. It's good stuff. Again, I don't know. It's like, I don't even, maybe I need to write it in my writer's bio or something. I find fake idols entertaining. They are just strategically useless.
So the problem here is that, now there's heat on Devon's, there's heat on Christian, and there's Emily, their buddy, they're ally. She's getting a little nervous. She's like, oh no, I don't want my guys going home. Like, this is part of my alliance. She took an interesting tack in how she decided, like, I want to, keep these guys around. She did almost find a way to save her allies, and that is by that is by getting everybody to vote for her. It was this close. She almost made it. I don't know that's the ideal way to move the target off of Christian and Devon's, but man, she got close.
Yeah, well, God bless her for trying.
Yeah.
There's been some recent talk, like late last week and stuff. It feels like people are like, and I guess this stems from earlier comments made, that like Emily is becoming underrated. That like people are not properly giving her credit for the game that she's playing, in part because everybody's viewing her moves through the lens of her male counterparts, and this is part of the sexist edit of this season. A discussion I haven't really been around for, and I'm going to continue to sidestep. And that some of the spins from the exit interviews of people who should be noted have no factor in the end game of this season at all. So, okay, cool. I'm really happy to hear how plugged into strategy people that were voted out a while ago were. This week seems to suggest that maybe she's not being underrated, but properly rated.
Yep.
Look, I think a lot of it speaks to how well the Polycule are doing.
Yep.
That nobody has sniffed it out, even though it felt like on day 2, everybody had sniffed out that Ozzy and Cirie were allied.
Right. And somehow that's like this collective memory loss. Like,
yes.
No, it's just out of our minds now. Like, what was that? Was that a thing? Like, Christian very directly in this episode says to Cirie, we should get out Ozzy. And it's like, man.
That's why he's gone home probably more than Jimmy Fallon.
Absolutely. Also, another reason he's going home, the fucking grudging credit that I'm going to give, Rizzo's good at Survivor, man. There's this talk of, maybe we'll do Emily instead. And he just says, look, take this fucking gift. Like, we want Christian gone. He's lost his vote. He's got to vote against him. Like, this is a fucking layup. Let's just take it. You know, like, you can get Emily whenever. Like,
yeah, but getting back to Emily, I'll just say, like, one thing that, because she makes the same mistake Christian does. So it's not like I'm going to judge her more harshly. If somebody is suggesting that, you're underrating how much I'm critiquing Christian for making the same mistake. But what's weird is like that's her move to save Christian. It's like, wasn't that already the move you were assuming prior to hearing that Christian gets the heat? So it's like, no, I got to do something to stop this. I know. Let's get everybody to vote for Ozzy. It's like, well, what were you doing before this?
Right?
Like that was what Christian had probably already told you was the plan. I feel like if you feel like that's not working either, why isn't, you have to come in with the understanding, like, I thought we discussed Ozzy. Why not Ozzy? Not, hey, I have a new idea. How about Ozzy, though?
Right. I actually think,
again, maybe there was no communication between her and Christian on that score.
Entirely possible. I actually think that whole trio, the Christian, Emily, Devin's trio, I don't feel like this is a hot take, but like strategically, not great this season. I mean, very entertaining.
No.
All three have been entertaining in their own way. But as far as like playing a good game of Survivor, no, garbage from all of them. Fun to watch, but also garbage.
Yeah, I think Christian may be like of the three the better, but still really sloppy, and we've talked about it as it's happened. Now some of that is, is probably the makeup of the crowd. Like I think there's just people in this season that weren't going to be moved by them.
Right.
But I think also they lack the ability to make that happen in ways that other people on the season do not. I know some people were then like, see, he shouldn't have voted out Mike White. I don't believe that has any impact on this at all. In part because it didn't feel like Stephanie was ever an option to be voted. So really, it's like, oh, they shouldn't have voted out Mike. They should have voted out Angelina. Okay, well, they still would have gone to tribal again.
Right. They probably would have lost again next time.
Yeah. So then who, right?
Right.
Like, again, and also then, like, so many fucking butterfly effect things. It's like, well, then is he still paired up with Jonathan? Does double here? If he betrays Mike to vote out Stephanie or to vote out Angelina, he's probably still not working with Mike at that point. So the whole idea that like if Mike was still here, you'd be okay. I don't think there's a scenario in which Mike and Christian are both here working together at this late a date.
Right. Because you have to look at the makeup of that tribe at the time, and that tribe was just not going to win.
Yeah, and also, I mean, I think a major reason Christian did it, and maybe he's right, maybe he's wrong, is he didn't want to go into the merge with 3 David versus Goliath people still in there and then draw the heat as a result. 2, he was probably okay with. 3 was a bit too much. Mike wasn't going to move off the idea of 3. So, like, I don't think that is why he went home. The why he went home is he got a little insulated and didn't have enough allies, and he suggested to Cirie that they should vote out Ozzy. And that's just messing up that. Like, I think it's a bad idea anyway. Ozzy is one of your allies, Christian. Why are you presenting this as forget not being able to understand that Cirie values her relationship with Ozzy more than she reveals her relationship with you. That you just got fooled by Cirie. Add your name to the pile.
I was going to say, who cares? Yeah.
It's more, why are you turning on Ozzy at all? Like, you have a relationship so that you can preserve your relationship with Jonathan?
Right.
Like, why are we doing this?
Exactly. It's just, right, you're sacrificing someone you have worked with before for the hope of working with someone that you really haven't.
Yeah, like, somebody he had to put a lot of work into to have a relationship with. And again, like, at some point, you have to vote out Ozzy. But, like, not now. It's still a little far away. Right now, like, if he doesn't do anything, Ozzy probably counts Christian as one of his, like, numbers. Not his main, one of his metamours.
Yes, exactly. Look at you. You're learning the lingo.
Anyway, sorry. I know you've been trying to move off of
no.
next topic, but
I mean,
actually, just another note on Emily and why she almost got in trouble. And this one was amusing with the rice. Cirie's like,
yes.
That girl says another thing about the rice. And I just want to say this fair because we've had some harsh things to say on Emily. I don't know that Emily was wrong about the rice.
You know what? I will disagree on that because
okay.
I think you really have no incentive to ration it at this point, because there aren't that many days and you can't be sure you're going to be around for them anyway. So it's like, great idea in theory to ration it. But like, look, man, there's like 10 or 11 of us and I'm not going to eat next to nothing today so that you guys can eat more tomorrow if I'm at risk. Like, no. Let's feast tonight because I'm dying now.
Yeah. And look, if that was part of the argument as presented, then I'd be all favors. Like, whatever, you get food, eat it. A lot of survivors will tell you that, although that was back in the days when they would just give you more. I think there was room in between what the portions that Cirie made and rationing. Because those were fucking heaping plates.
They were.
Like, again, these people were starving, so great, and they eat it. But, like, if you gave me that much rice in a meal right now, well, I mean, it's way past dinner, like 2 hours ago, some of it's still in the bowl when I'm done eating. Like, it was a lot of rice. I feel like 4 cups would still have been a lot of rice for everybody.
Nah.
And, so.
Nah, listen, you put some curry on that thing,
which I do not have.
All 4 cups myself. So, and I have 1 cup left for everybody else. Here you go.
And the beauty of rice is it's like it fills you up. You don't
Yep.
need to eat as much to get.
But
So it's like like everything is framed by ha ha ha. Emily, she just doesn't know when to shut up, and Cirie is always right. And I mean that's my instinct when watching it as well. But then
of course,
then I see like it feels like the rice is almost falling off these people's like serving leaves or whatever. Like, okay, I think maybe just a little less would have been okay. I get that, like, and then other people are like, don't you understand how rice works? Like 1 cup will make 2. Well, her point was 1 cup is too many, like 5 cups is too many. She understands that it becomes more.
right.
It was just so much more.
Right. But again, I think the problem is,
And then, yes, again, if Cirie would have been like, and maybe she was, but they're not going to show this on the episode. It's like, yeah, no, look, it's going to waste so much of it. Whatever. We're all here now. Let's eat.
Yep.
Yeah. And the show is almost over. So we don't need to conserve.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, what is there, 10 days left?
Yeah.
Ish. Yeah. So we're in that range. And so, yes.
Like, I always think they should eat all the chickens right away. Right? Maybe not like that day, but like by the next episode, there shouldn't be that many chickens.
That's what I'm saying. One chicken a day for 3 days. And then it's like, okay, done. Ate it all.
But it was a lot of rice is what I'm saying.
Sure. Absolutely. But I also.
And if it was better food than just plain white rice, then maybe I'd also be like, yeah, like it's a reward. And then now people are like, like a huge percentage of the world is like, what are you talking about? I eat that every day.
Right.
Again, it's not like heat, but like if it was a bunch of bread, my white boy ass would be like, that's a lot of bread.
I don't know, man. Again, as a carb lover, I'd be like, that's not enough bread. I want so much more. Yeah. So
that is the last negative thing I'll be saying about Cirie, though.
Yeah. I mean, because she deserves all the praise, man. Holy shit. Like, it is amazing that she can play so well, and it just seemingly doesn't threaten people. And I do think it's, it's kind of what we discussed in the season preview, where there's like, they all just assume they can get her out whenever. That's got to be part of it, right? Because there's no way that you watch her playing this well and think like, man, I should be a little nervous about how well Cirie plays, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love how hierarchical her polyamory is. She has a clear-cut number 3 in Christian. And also, she's like, you know what? I could get another clear-cut number 3. I just need to keep my number 1s. And like, it is also, she adopted a little bit of that Sandra strategy. Like, as long as it's not me, it's fine. Which, true. For her game, it is fine. As I said earlier, I don't think it ultimately matters for her, especially. Who goes this episode versus next versus the following. It doesn't matter. She just needs them all gone. The order is not going to ultimately matter if you're Cirie.
I think like there's a bit of an order, like not like 1-to-1, but like she can never let like one group really outpace her group, right? So like they do need to kind of pick off from each a little bit here or there, but it doesn't have to be 1-to-1, this one then that one or anything like that. There's flex ability in her plan because she does have alliances and all that, and absolutely, like I do think people are not realizing the threat she presents because at this stage of the game, she does not feel threatening.
Right.
That is incredibly short-sighted in what threatening in Survivor can entail. But yeah, man, I was just watching, and prior to the Christian conversation, and then definitely during the Christian conversation, I was just, again, I fully know everything this woman is capable of and is still in awe of how good she is at this. That somebody like Christian could come to her, present this plan, and like no hesitation, no like, second guessing. Oh, you think so? And like lets them like lay out their whole plan and believe that she's with them without really saying much at all. And this happened, like you see it with Tiffany and like her thoughts. You see it when Joe was, no, it's got to be Devon's and all this. It's like she's able to like talk to people, and everybody always believes that Cirie is with them.
Yep.
And the magic is there's a way in Survivor, a pretty definitive way at the end of every episode, which confirms whether you're with or not. And that never comes into play. Tomorrow, when I'm sure that Emily will still try to work with her or something. And if not, she's got enough, if they could get rid of Emily and it'd be fine.
Right.
But it's just like, it's just so smooth. And it's an economy of words. She doesn't have to say a lot. And then when she wants something, she can turn it around on people. And last week was very demonstrative in this way.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, what are we doing? This week is more subtle. And it's just, she's the fucking greatest, man.
She's so good at this. And I loved too how Christian absolutely left that conversation with no doubt. Like, okay, yeah, Cirie heard me, and she's like, oh yeah, she sees my argument. And then, cut to the next scene with her and Ozzy. And not only that, the most gangster move,
yes,
don't make any reactions right now to anything I'm telling you. Just stay stone-faced. We're just having a conversation. And Ozzy's like, yes, Cirie, whatever you wish, Cirie. She's just laying out, here's what just happened. You're not going to react at all. You're going to walk away. It's just so fucking smooth. And Ozzy's like, okay, yes. Which again, I've said for weeks now, Ozzy legit is like, nah, she's better at this than me. I'm just going to do what she says. And it's working for both of them.
Yeah. And you see that with Ozzy, but you suspect that's how she is with a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
It's not just, yes, sure, whatever you want, anyone, even me. I'm sure when she's encounter discussions with people she's not even really considering, she'll feed information, be like, okay, yeah, and let's do this and all that. So everybody just feels like she's with them, but also just honored that Cirie's with them and that she's feeding them information that they get to work with her. It's never in awe of oh my God, she's so good at this. Usually in Survivor, when you reveal how good you are at something, it terrifies the fuck out of people and they vote you out.
Yep.
Here it's just oh, I'm so glad Cirie's on my side.
I know.
And for Ozzy and Rizzo, it's true. But Christian felt that way, I'm sure. Emily felt that way, I'm sure. Joe feels that way. Tiffany feels that way.
Yep.
My God.
It's crazy to watch. I mean, especially given that, I feel like in the post 40 seasons, especially, it was always an excuse before that. But you'd be like, oh man, that person's a strategic threat. We had to get rid of them here. And that's the justification you use all the time in the post-merge, right? Mm-hmm. And there is no clearer strategic threat than Cirie. And everybody's just like, yeah, man, she's great. I'm so impressed with her. I'm so glad she's with me. Shit. You guys are catching on? No, that's exactly what's happening. There's just no one catches on. It's just she keeps doing what she does.
Yeah, and it's not happenstance. It's not just coincidental. We see it from her. She's when she's discussing what's going on with Rick. And again, this shows just how good she is socially. While, Joe and Jonathan are both making fun of, but also upset about what Devins does. She acts like she is also oh, Rick, that was so crazy. How could we ever work with him? Meanwhile, then she comes to us. It's I love it. Just another person jumping in front of me.
That's
great. As long as more people want to make big targets of themselves, she's aware. This is not again, did she make that happen with Devins? No, but she sees how these things can benefit her.
Yep. And I think it's also one of the reasons why the Christian vote was more likely is because she sees that people think Devins has an idol. So she's got, even if she takes Christian out here, she's got the next target already.
Yeah.
She can try to move it somewhere else, but if nothing else, easy vote for Devins next time, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, she's, again, just thinking ahead, and I love to watch it.
Yeah. So, obviously, more than Jimmy Fallon, where Christian went wrong was targeting Ozzy.
Oof.
And I'd say, at the beginning of this season, Christian was the person I was enjoying the most, right? He was, I think, the most entertaining presence. The way he describes things, is man, I just like having this guy on my TV. Even tonight, as he's flailing and failing, I thought, when he was discussing, failing at that puzzle, very entertaining. And, and the ways, smart people feel dumb too. Just so good at this.
Yep.
So we're faced with the prospect that Christian is going to go home because he made a move against Ozzy.
Right.
Ozzy, for those of you guys, we're going to just remind you, level set here if you didn't remember, a person that I have not enjoyed at all since he teamed up with Yule in Cook Islands.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make clear, that was the first time I did. And I don't mean, that's his first season. I did not like him his first 5 or 6 episodes. It wasn't until Those 4 were the only 4.
Yeah, exactly.
And then anytime since then, I haven't enjoyed Ozzy at all. So we have this Ozzy versus Christian. Who were you rooting for, John?
Again, this is the sort of thing where if you had told me, 10 weeks ago, hey, it's going to come to Ozzy versus Christian at some point, I'd have been like, oh, thank God, I hope Christian takes his ass out. Right? Like,
yeah.
And yet, as the season starts, like, my opinion shifting, and I've very much enjoyed Christian. I agree with you. Like, he's been great this season, a great watch, very good. I loved his, is a mixture of some funny stuff. He had some stuff at the challenge that we'll talk about in a little bit, but also like his little heartfelt things about his son, and like he's, in the moment to be able to like have that kind of awareness, and talk to us about how it felt to lose that puzzle. Like, he was great TV.
Yeah.
But again,
there's a chance the show will be less entertaining now that Christian isn't a part of it.
And yet, I'm still like, man, I'm invested in Ozzy. I'm just so committed to seeing, like, where's he going to take this? Like, how is this going to work out for Ozzy? I really do care about how this new version of Ozzy that's just going to take everything Cirie gives him. Like, how does that work out for Ozzy?
Yeah. So Christian says that, oh, hey, Christian's going to work with Cirie. Great, fantastic. That's what I'd like to see. And then he's like, I think we go for Ozzy. And here's the thing we should also note. Christian was right. He had clocked Ozzy as what was happening. People were saying we're floating, but Ozzy's the real floater. It's like, yep. Not wrong there, Professor. And then he says that to Cirie, and I'm like, you got to go, Christian. This is so weird. Ow. If you would have asked me like 3 episodes ago, who's your, non for Cirie favorite? Christian. Easy answer. And as soon as he does that, he's moving against Ozzy. He's like, well, see you later, Christian.
Yep. How dare you?
Yes. What the hell?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
A lot of it is, and it started, right from the first episode for me, even earlier. I remember we're doing the preview podcast, and you're ready to be like, fuck, why Ozzy?
Yep.
And I was like, I got news for you, John. I read his interview, and I'm kind of interested in new Ozzy. You're like, what?
Yeah,
and then you saw it right away.
And
it's been there. So I've enjoyed him and his journey, and I want to see go. It helps probably also that like Ozzy feels like a contender to win this season, and Christian no longer did.
Yeah.
So that probably also helped. But it's also like the biggest factor is the Cirie Halo factor.
Mm-hmm. It really helps, man. Shit. I mean, even early on, I just remember her having a conversation with Emily. I'm like, do I like Emily now? I don't know. And then I realized, no, I just like whoever Cirie says is cool.
Yes.
That's what's happening here. It's working through the TV. Cirie's magic is working on me.
And clearly Cirie has made the choice.
Yep.
Her ride or dies are Ozzy and Rizzo. So, all right, fuck it, we ride. That's my team. You team, we team.
Right. The Rizzo, the same guy that I spent weeks last season being like, oh man, this kid.
Weeks this season.
This season too. I'm just like, oh fuck. And now it's just like, that's right. That's my boy.
Yeah. Don't you dare say anything about the Grizz God.
As soon as Chrissy said something about him last week, that's it. You're toast. You're dead. He's got you.
Somebody's saying about him in the preview for next week is like, the fucker's got to go.
That's right.
Don't ever say anything about the RIZGOD.
That's right. You don't touch this polycule. So this evolution of Ozzy has been fascinating. I'm all invested. Same to a smaller scale with Rizzo, but like it feels for me like the Rizzo we're getting is like I'm seeing this kid evolve in real time. Very cool. Do you think that's also happening with Jonathan?
Do I think he's evolving? No.
Okay.
Do I think he's playing better than he was last time? Yes.
Okay.
Do I think he's playing better than other people this season? Also, yes.
Well, I guess it depends which.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, do I think he's playing the best? No.
No.
But there were times this episode where, things are going through, and I'm like, things are going all right for Jonathan. Like that, he managed that moment well. He is better positioned than you would assume he should be after losing 2 of his biggest allies last week.
Right.
Better positioned after losing Charlie early in the season. It's just like, is he doing well is kind of the question. And like, we have to acknowledge that we don't want to admit that he is. Like,
Right.
our own biases would be like, no. But like, starts at like Aubrey is looking for an exit route after the masterful fake idol play that sure showed put me in my place. She goes to Jonathan.
Yeah, I think the sign that he's pretty well placed socially and strategically is we saw a lot of people going up to talk to him in this episode, which admittedly, I don't remember a ton about his strategy the first time that he played.
Was in a majority and wanted to win challenges, I think mostly sums it up.
That's what I'm saying.
He basically just annoyed the people he was aligned with too much. And then I think lost at fire or something. I don't even think he got voted out, but that part I'm fuzzy on.
Right. But it didn't feel to me like he'd done so much differently. But again, he does have people come in and talk to him, and that does feel different than what I remember of his first season. And it could, this is all vibes, but it just feels like he was not getting that kind of play in his first season. It was just an expectation like, there's the guy that's good at challenges and blah, blah, blah. Whereas this time people are having actual strategic conversations with him.
Yeah, like it was outsourced to like Ulmer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he wasn't able, and Mike Turner, and wasn't able to see like everybody else, like what Marianne was, which was the best player that season, or at least one of.
I was gonna say,
depending on your
it's close.
opinions on Ulmer.
Yep.
Yeah, like, and look, some of it could just be competition, right? But I mean, these are like returnees versus like, were they better that season? I don't know. But it's just like, Joe isn't going to bring the strategy. Stephanie is kind of limited. Aubrey has nowhere. But like, so sure, we can dismiss all that. Oh, is it saying a lot that he's playing better than them? Okay. But like, Christian goes to Jonathan as a method of savings. Like, Christian, aren't you in a better spot than Jonathan is right now? Like, why do you, prior to this scenario where you have to vote for yourself, why are you debasing yourself to him? He just lost last week. Like, you should just be closing, the ranks,
right,
to continue that path.
Cut the legs
out. But for some reason,
kick him while he's down.
Jonathan seems to be the one you approach to make a move.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like despite wanting to have bias against him, like there is clearly a level of game that he's playing this season that I don't think was evident in his first season. No. So, has he gotten better at Survivor? Yeah, probably in some way. Or either that, or this happens to be a situation where, within this group, he's better situated to thrive in some way.
Right.
Yeah.
But even like in the previous couple of weeks, like we get him clocking like, man, coach probably needs to settle down type stuff. Like, and like recognizing while still teaming with him. I'm not, putting too much on Jonathan,
right?
But that coach might be a bit of an albatross, right? Like, so like, and maybe some of this is just more the show is filtering things through him. Well, okay, that's how. Okay, you could only discount the edit, your analysis so much because what else is your analysis based on?
Right.
We are not there. Obviously, a lot of people like to base it on interviews as though those are somehow so much less fictional than the edited presentation.
Right.
The way people remember things is their own cut. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, far more biased than even Survivor editors. But yeah, I think, and here's I guess the final thing to point to, why Jonathan, I think we can give some begrudging kudos. I was going to use the word respect, but I'm not there.
Nope.
He is one of the biggest challenge threats out there. This is the phase of the game traditionally where let's take out the challenge threats, and that discussion has yet to be made at all.
Right.
Now, maybe this group is just not worried about that right now. It's also not happening with Joe or whatever, but it's just like normally, and with Jonathan, we got to get rid of him before we don't lose a chance. Nobody's really worried about that. Instead, it's like, I want to work with Jonathan. So at the very least, he is making himself presentable as an option for other people to use for their games, which, is actually a big factor of Survivor. So.
Mm-hmm. I think it's also possible that there's a lot more people left
Yeah.
than usual. And I think that it's very possible that, hey, we need to get rid of Jonathan because he's really good at challenges, will be a story arc within the next 2 weeks, right? It's like, it's not that it hasn't, that it won't come up. It's just that it hasn't yet.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, a great point. Like normally it's right at the merge, but like the right at the merge is more of a midpoint or whatever. We're not there yet, right?
Seriously, there's still so many players left. So yeah, it's entirely possible that they're like, we're gonna have such and such amount of shots going down the line. Like, at some point he's gonna lose. We'll take him out then. And now it's getting to the point where they're probably gonna be like, okay, but we need to consider taking him out now.
Yeah, it could be though that they are worried about a brand new challenge threat.
Oh, who is that? Because it might be the guy that we finally saw show his challenge prowess in this episode. But how did you like that, by the way?
I thought it was fun.
I thought it fucking ruled. Like, I enjoyed that segment so much. It was just goofy, silly fun. And like, I loved them all clowning on him. Also, like, I really loved how badly they wanted it to happen, right? Because like, he caved so easily on that negotiation, and those people should have realized it doesn't matter. You could, they didn't set that shit up for nothing, right? Like, he's going to say yes to it. You could have just had Joe say, like, I'll go one-on-one with you. Ultimately, he would have agreed because he was gonna do it. So it's like, I just enjoyed the shit out of that.
And look, the further discussion we just had, like, as presented, Jonathan's the one, like, can we negotiate here?
Yep.
I do think another voice, and I kind of think it was Christian, it was like, you pointed out what you pointed out, like, you want to do this.
Right.
So, yeah, then they got to 4. I do like that, like, what? Come on, sack up, Stephanie. Are you really worried about losing to Jeff Probst?
Seriously.
Yeah, she might be tired and hungry. Let's allow for that.
Yeah, but still, I think ultimately she did beat him.
She did beat him. Yeah, absolutely, she did.
Exactly.
So did Christian, So, again, if you hate the guy, you're going to hate anything he does, and especially something that puts more of a spotlight. It was funny. It was fun. Challenges often aren't that interesting in and of themselves. So if we throw in a little mix to that, and it's clear that the contestants had a lot of fun.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think that's what made the scene for me, right? Is like Ozzy yelling, "You gotta dig deep, Probst," and like just busting his fucking balls. And like, that was good. It was enjoyable season 50 fun. Like, and the montage
Probst was fantastic.
Yes, Probst just tearing into contestants' previous seasons, and then now that they get to do it to him, amazing. A bit of a memory that he used to be a lot spicier.
Yeah. But that's fine. Like, he's old, man. And things evolve. Like,
he's mellowed out.
And so, it was good times. I enjoyed it. Let's make this the only time.
Yeah. That's the thing, is I don't need this to be an every season occurrence. But all the same, like, that was fun. I enjoyed that. And then even
better, like, we got some food into the fucking contestants. So.
Yes, exactly. And that was the other thing. It wasn't a lot of stakes, and someone in our comments was like, "Oh man, they didn't have to risk anything." Yeah, no shit, because they just wanted to have Jeff Probst compete in a challenge, and they're like, "If we make you actually risk anything, you'll say no, and we didn't set this shit up for nothing."
Yeah,
so.
and honestly, kudos to him. And not so much for outlasting 4 competitors, because again, these people are tired, starving, hungry, that sort of thing. And also, like, I think he works out.
Of course.
You would imagine anybody whose job is to be on TV has to keep themselves in some level of shape. Not necessarily that builds like grip strength or anything like that, but more, he's still doing his hosting job while he's doing it, right?
Yeah,
like, he's still like, hey, who just dropped? And like, so like, the man's a fucking pro.
He is. I enjoyed it. And I like how seamlessly he transitioned, which, by the way, like, he was probably out of breath and like hands
so
aching.
Much pain. Yeah.
And then he's still walking around like, okay, let's he starts walking behind everybody. He's like, Tiffany's still looking good here. I'm just like, damn, man, you need a break? You all right?
Yeah, let Devin step in. So, no, okay. And so, like, when we started the episode, like, did I enjoy this? No, because of, like, I think the twist was just so bad and badly, imagined. And then obviously I don't enjoy losing one of the more entertaining aspects. But stuff like Probst, the challenge was fun.
Yep.
Getting to see Cirie just God level stuff was good. So like I had enjoyable moments throughout, but when it was done, I was like, especially coming off last week, right? But
yeah.
but yeah,
The thing
and
is,
sometimes
anything is going to be a letdown after last week, right? Like last week was such a high, so you had to like recalibrate. Like you're not going to get that high every week.
And then one other like really underrated element, just like a small little thing, but all parts of the presentation matter.
Mhm.
Something I just I don't have a huge take on, but I just wanted to call it out because it's now 2 weeks in a row. Not an envisioned, but what a massive side benefit of like Dee going to the jury right away
Right.
is, my God, the way she looks on the jury. Obviously this isn't something that sticks in my brain or anything, but like, I don't know if we've had anybody who looks that good. It's only 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many looks she's got. I'm going to assume a lot. But when she comes out, and like Chrissy and Coach cleaned up nicely too, but it doesn't matter. Especially because like they're in nice little formal wear, but it's like, like muted. She's popped in red, and I'm just like, holy fuck.
Yeah. It's funny. It's like you almost like can picture her planning her outfits. Like, okay, well, if I go first, I'm going to need this many outfits. Yeah. Yeah.
Good on you, Dee.
That's
seriously.
Right. Planned it. Well
like,
done.
I'm not going to be creepy old man here. It's just like, you know how to work. You're a very attractive human on the television. Kudos for that.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to put out there.
So, actually, I think there was a fan mail that I wanted to address, which I've totally forgotten. Maybe we'll save it for next week. Actually, hang on.
I do have it here. I could read it out loud.
I got it. Hang on 1 second. Gripping podcasting here. All right. Here we go. From our boy Ben Folds fan. Hey there, gents and maybe gentlewomen if Emma's on. Oh, good guess, but no. I just had to share this. I took some days off work to go visit some indie bookstores in the Brooklyn bookstore crawl. As I'm walking in the hip neighborhood of Williamsburg, hey, I've been there, I passed a young woman wearing a Jeff Probst shirt. Not a Survivor shirt. A shirt that just said Jeff Probst with several photos of the man. I was taken aback, but I couldn't get the words out to ask about it. Have you ever passed by someone with Survivor or some other pop culture you love, adornment that took you by surprise? I'll allow you to go first on this one.
Survivor, no, never.
Okay.
Try to avoid anywhere where that could possibly happen.
Absolutely, sure.
I like to think, and this probably isn't the timing or chronology, but this person was doing it in tribute to Jeff's challenge performance the other night.
Oh, man. That'd be amazing. Like, immediately had a custom shirt made of Jeff, like, cranking.
Or maybe they already had it. It's like, today, I got to wear this, much like, the day after your team wins one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't have an answer for the other pop culture. I can't think of anything that, like, pops. In part because, like, I try not to look at people too much or interact. So it's never like, oh, yeah. But I will say that I've had the reverse happen to me, right? That I'm, like,
yes, you did.
Like a band shirt. Well, no, I don't mean, like, the time that somebody recognized me from this show. But, like, a band shirt, and, you get another dude be like, hey, man, nice shirt. And it's like, fuck. And, like, man, like, I mean, it's like hipster, like aging hipster type stuff. So it's like, and I like my kids are with me, and on one hand, like, huh? But also like 40-year-old dudes like think you're cool. You're not, but I don't care, man.
That's right.
There's like nice Elliott Smith shirt, and I'm like, you're right, it is.
That's right.
And I just give like a thanks, man. That's it.
Yep.
But I never thought, I can't think of a time the opposite when somebody else was doing it, like, oh, they got the thing. How about yourself?
Sure, it's happened. I remember specifically, I was on a vacation and I saw someone, kind of similar vibe, had a whole Coming to America shirt on where it was just like Eddie Murphy's face is on there. And it's like, and I said, like, it was all these characters, just the whole shirt is plastered and it was long sleeve and front and back, just everywhere. Characters and scenes from Coming to America. And I was like, what the fuck is that shirt? But I was like, it was one of those things like, I gotta say something. Like, I gotta let this man know, like, hey, I like the shirt. And he's like, oh man, thanks, bro. And I'm like, yeah, cool. And that was it. That was the only thing I said. But also, listeners with a much better memory than I have might recall that at one point I was actually on vacation, saw someone wearing a Survivor shirt, and I went back and forth about it too. I was like, okay, do I talk to this person and say, like, I'm also a Survivor fan? I'm not a person that just approaches random strangers. But I'm like, you know what? I've got the time. Just this once, I'll try it. I'm on vacation. Fuck it. Why not? Let's try. And then ended up talking to the person and ultimately like did bring up the fact that I have a podcast, which I would never fucking do to anyone else, but I'm out of town, right? Like it's no one in my real life will ever know. And so then he ended up at least listening to one episode. I don't know if he's still listening. I would
shout out if you are.
Yeah. Right. Like, yeah, if he still is, feel free to hit the little fan mail button and write in. But yeah, that's really my only experience seeing a Survivor paraphernalia person in the crowd. I can
relate to that, not for Valiant or whatever, but when I was on a cruise once, they had a Survivor trivia like hour or whatever, like a little game.
Yeah.
So I'm there doing that and doing obviously really well.
I would hope.
But I think I either lost by one in like regular time or maybe like extra questions to my brother-in-law.
Oh,
he beat me by one, and it was I think like almost math based or something like that.
Oh no!
So then like he's there collecting like his trophy from the trivia games master or whatever, and then she starts like, "Oh yeah, you're a big fan of Survivor or whatever," and then she asks like, "Do you listen to any of the podcasts?"
Oh no!
And then my brother's like, "He has one."
No.
Yeah.
Like,
which one? Oh, yeah, which one? Like, excited. And then I'm like, oh, the Purple Rock podcast. She had no idea what the fuck that is. So
Good. And then you ran away.
It's you're not supposed to tell people to. I later won the one on Marvel Comics movies. But anyway. Yeah, so that's that. Also, like, the story, your story, my story, everybody listening, if you see it, bro, in like a cool, like pop culture shirt, and you feel like, hey, I want to acknowledge that. Say it.
You got to do it. Yeah.
Nice shirt. And speaking of somebody who's gotten it, makes their fucking day.
Absolutely. Yeah, it absolutely. You should do it. It never's going to get a bad reaction. Everyone's going to be like, oh man, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, and I'd be like, hey, like,
how dare you talk about my, whatever shirt that I'm fucking wearing. No. They want you to say some shit.
You have validated me and like me putting out into the world that which defines me, And like women might be listening. It's like, yeah, we tell women they have nice outfits all the time. It's not even that.
This is different.
It's different because this is about the thing, but also men don't compliment each other or receive them.
Although, I say that there was a guy I saw the other day where I was like, this man looked like a fucking fashion icon. It was just like every accessory he was wearing, man looked like he stepped out of.
He had that shit on.
Yeah, right out of a fucking catalog. And I was like, damn, man. I don't remember what I fucking said, but I somehow complimented his fit. And he was like, oh man, thanks. And I was just like, that's it. And then we just kept walking. But that's how men interact with each other. Like, quick compliment, later, no more further exchanges. Like, let's leave now. So, anyway, speaking of, let's move on to our top 3 for this week.
We had so many ideas.
We did. We had some good ones, but I think, in honor of our boy Christian leaving, there's really only one way that we could ultimately go, and that's top 3 Christians. Number 1 with a bullet, American Pope. Like, let's get that out of the way. Like, we don't even need to to debate that.
We're talking about popes and a bullet. There is another one.
Well, and also, let's be clear, I'm not wishing that upon anybody.
No.
Especially not this one. All right, no, instead,
let's do top 3 Christian denominations. And
it's also a good
send your fan mail in.
Whichever sect you're a part of would be a good one. The one that doesn't allow you to drink caffeine.
Yeah, I mean, officially Roman Catholic would be what the water that was sprinkled on me as a baby would tell you, but
you're pure Mormon, baby.
Sure.
All right, no, instead, because we did go back and forth. We debated fictional robots, which was also a good list, but instead, let's do top 3 late night hosts. And you can lead us off on this one.
Yeah, I have an honorable mention.
As do I.
Yeah, it'll make me sound like I'm 100,000 years old, so I need to explain. But for an honorable mention, I'm going to go with Johnny Carson.
Sure.
Did I watch The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson? Maybe a little bit as a kid. Like, I am not quite that old, but there used to be a thing called like Carson's Classics where they would just like do compilations of his bits, like Karnak and whatever, right? And those I would watch. I think they'd like show them before Saturday Night Live or whatever. Again, did I see his shows? Probably sometimes, because this is a thing, like, unless you're of a certain age, you don't understand. They didn't program for children, and households weren't built around the children allowing them to watch what they wanted. There was a TV in one room in the house, eventually two. That was helpful when I got video games. And sometimes my parents just watched stuff and I was in the room. So there's that. But why I picked that, yeah, the Carson's Classic bits were funny. We used to have like VHS, like Best of Carson, and that got watched a lot in the house. Did I love it? No, but my dad did.
Okay.
And my dad was even worse for you than you when it comes to like enjoying narrative story structure or whatever. He did not have a lot. So, there's always like those bits about like a dad movie or whatever. And like he maybe had like 3. Forrest Gump would be one. But Johnny Carson, God's the King, and like something we could always kind of put on at like family gatherings or whatever. So it just kind of holds a place. And given recent things, I figured it was a good spot to pay a little bit homage.
Sure. Mine actually goes to much more recent late night host, and that's Trevor Noah. Because he had some tough shoes to fill. He came in after Jon Stewart. Difficult because there was mass infatuation with Jon Stewart, particularly in like the George Bush era. So Trevor Noah stepping in, it's like, ooh man, how's he going to handle this? And he did very well. So honorable mention to Trevor.
All right, for number 3, I'll go with probably the one I've liked the most at the time that I liked it. Because here's the thing, I'm not really a late night talk show guy.
Right.
I've watched a fair amount, and now I don't watch any at all.
Right.
But there's a few reasons. The biggest of which was they were not on until 12:30 where we live. Right? Like that's normally the second, the Conan O'Brien, David Letterman hour.
Yeah.
Now, that's like the Tonight Show wasn't on until 12:30 where I lived. And the reason simple is that our cable came from Spokane, which is Pacific time zone. I'm in Mountain time zone. So nowadays, I imagine that's not an issue because you can get signals from a lot of different places. Like I can watch Survivor at the same time as you. I just get it out of Detroit, I believe. So I'm sure now if I were interested in watching any of these current late night hosts, I could probably as early as like 9:30 or something. So like it was late, but when I was young, I did not go to bed as early as I should. I can't believe how late I'd stay up, but I'd also record. And at the time when I was like, a teenager, like junior high school, nobody was more invested in terms of late night as my favorite host was Arsenio Hall.
Oh, wow. What a throwback.
Yeah. I don't know if he's any good or anything.
No.
I don't know if he's any funny. But like he had the musical guests I cared about. He had NBA players on all the time. Like that was the vibe and the interest I most aligned. Like when I was 14 or 15, like I thought the Arsenio call was fucking cool. So he had to be on my list.
All right. Well, my number 3, again, a little more recent than that. The guy that Trevor Noah replaced, Jon Stewart. Because there was a period in my life in those George Bush years where I was watching The Daily Show every night. It felt necessary to do so. I don't know if you know this experience, but there's times when you'll be looking at, let's say, a political situation, and you'll be like, this is batshit. People should be saying something about this. And, so then when somebody does, you're like, oh, thank God, I'm not the only one that recognizes that this is batshit. And that was Jon Stewart for many years. So Jon Stewart gets my number 3. Luckily, there's no situations like that anymore. That
No,
yeah.
Never at all.
Yeah, it's not called for anymore, but definitely in those George Bush years it was.
So my number 2 is the legend, David Letterman. Again, sometimes I stay up. Sometimes I stay up just for the top 10. But again, sometimes I record and you get reruns and stuff. And just his bits were, really smart and creative. I don't need to say anymore. David Letterman, number 2.
Yeah, exactly. He's great. I actually intentionally left him off my list, figuring that you would pick him.
Stupid Petrix.
Yeah, it's good stuff. He was a funny guy. My number 2, Stephen Colbert, who got his own Comedy Central. I'm not talking about the CBS one. I'm talking
Yeah.
about when he was playing the role of Stephen Colbert
The
as
Colbert
Stephen
Report.
Colbert. Yes, exactly. Amazing, excellent parody, satire stuff. It doesn't work anymore because parody doesn't exist. Like, you can't do parody with
Yeah.
the way that reality is now. But at the
And
time,
the targets are like immune to it now.
I was absolutely, yeah. It wouldn't work anymore. But at
Like
the
they
time,
didn't understand
killed
it then, but now completely immune.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Colbert's my number 2.
Sorry. Yeah. Originally, I had him on my list as well as my number 1, which is Jon Stewart. And then I decided to switch it up because they kind of 1A, 1B.
Right.
But like Jon Stewart was a bit maybe more like Colbert was doing a character, right? So
Yes.
but yeah, like I was right there, same time, same age, sadly different country. So those examples of like, why do I know all this stuff so much? But yeah, like I would make an effort as like an adult, as like making a choice adult to be watching The Daily Show like near daily, right? And
Yep.
that's the last one and then Colbert right after, right? And again, sometimes recorded, sometimes not, but that's the last time that was true. Right, like around he retired, and even just like, I mean, once Trump wins, suddenly like none of this shit is funny anymore.
Nope. Exactly.
Like I stopped watching John Oliver too. It's just kind of like I can't. And for one, the first it was like defense, like why do I care this much about largely American politics? Sometimes they cover other things, but frankly, like I had to take a break. It's like Bush too, even.
Right.
But yeah, no. The person I've liked the most as like kind of making my own choices type person is Jon Stewart. Like I had the book and all that. Now it feels a little cringy, but whatever, man. It was a different time.
It was.
It was good for then, and now there might be good stuff out there now, but I'm not watching it.
Also a different time. My number 1, Conan O'Brien.
Yeah.
Because again, it was just at a certain age where I was staying up really late. Had friends that were staying up really late. We'd watch Conan. We'd talk about it. We'd make the jokes, whatever. So yeah, there was just a period in my life that I fondly remember, like being up late, talking to friends, watching Conan. So he will always have that nostalgia boost. So he's my number 1. Also, turns out he's still a good and funny person. He's like tireless worker. I can't imagine. He does fucking podcasts all the fucking time. And he's doing TV shows. Like, why don't you just, work less? That's the one thing I don't find relatable at all. Like, I mean, I'd just be done. I'd be like, nah, I'm good. Thanks. But no, he keeps going.
Yeah, he was in my consideration list. And I remember like when there was the big war, right?
Yeah.
Him versus Jay Leno. I was
Yeah.
all in on it reading. And then like I did at one point, I had to stop. It's like, you're not watching either show, man.
Yeah, for
You're not
sure.
gonna watch. I was like so passionate, like I screwed over Conan. And yeah, he got his own show. And then I never tuned in once.
Nope.
I mean,
Same.
I don't know that I have TBS channels. Like it would have had to have been picked up. And I bet it was maybe somewhere on a Canadian, syndication or whatever. But yeah, just because at that point it was kind of a dying hour for him. They're still around though.
Yeah, technically. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, as ruining this episode of Survivor proves, but and I think a lot of it now is predicated like you need to have bits that'll go viral.
right.
Yeah.
Stuff that'll hit
So-
YouTube. That's all you
Yeah.
need.
So anyway, people free share your own thoughts and all of that. Young people will be like, I don't know any of the people you mentioned, but
What is a late night talk show?
yeah, why? I just get these are my TikTokers. We're not doing that list. Don't try to sneak them in. But other countries, man, like you Australian viewers, you want to be like, oh, you guys didn't mention Bruce Hogan or whatever. I don't know. I just made up an Australian
That
name.
does sound very Australian. I was like,
It does.
that could be him. Yeah.
Yeah, or
one of those
Sheila or
guys.
something, right? Feel free. I'm sure the UK probably has late night hosts. They do 3 specials a year, and that's all we're going to talk about is TV.
Right.
List them.
Sure. You can do that by responding in a fan mail. You can click on that in somewhere in the podcast description. Or you can go to purplerockpodcast.com and leave us a comment on our website. We have some wonderful commenters. Or you can check out our fantasy league, which you're far too late on. And you should just check it out for no other reason than the fact that you're going to see someone get a point for voting themselves out this week. So good for
First time
Christian.
ever.
First time ever for that one. All right. Anything else, Andy?
Nah, let's hit the music.
Christian.